Hello and welcome to Hot Topics, a special segment of Studio 122. I'm your host, Thomas Kent, and today we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, the election. I'm here with Allie James, BJ Laudermilk, and Ricky Moser, our resident military expert, and we're going to be talking about the election. So, guys, first of all, I guess, what are your thoughts on the outcome? Ricky?
My thoughts are, first of all, anyone who's protesting the results, I wouldn't really call it a protest so much as a tantrum, because it's already happened. You're not going to change what has already happened. There's been petitions out to put Hillary or whoever else in, but that petition's already happened. That was called a vote.
Right, and we are going to get to the protest, and we actually did have one here on campus. Before we get there, though, BJ, what do you think just about the overall outcome?
Well, you know, when the country was established over 200 years ago, the way that was different from everything else that we had before in terms of government was a democracy where the people decide things. And, you know, we have a vote that decides not only who becomes president, but who is our elected legislatives. And, you know, sometimes you don't win elections. You know, we've had our fair share of losing presidential candidates, and I don't remember, you know, any time in history where the losing side has had such a big, you know, opposition to the results of the election. You know, if it was something that was decided fair and square, they generally seem to accept it.
Sure, there's always been protests to a point, or people that are unhappy with the results, but it does seem like it's taken a different turn. Allie, your thoughts on the outcome?
I have to say that I'm not surprised at all. I think what this came down to is towards the end when the Democratic Party was trying to find a nominee, they chose Hillary Clinton. And I think most people would have been a lot happier if Bernie Sanders had been the nominee.
Well, you know, I think in the primaries he might have been the actual winner, but
right.
Oh, yeah,
and I think that's what happened is they chose a candidate that had a lot of experience with losing the elections. So people weren't happy with having Hillary Clinton as the Democratic nominee, so they ended up mostly voting for Donald Trump.
Just to kind of set the table, what were you all hoping for in the election, BJ?
Well, you know, I was really, you know, I saw all these polls come out, and they said all these things like Hillary Clinton is going to win, and it's going to not even be close. We're going to have this thing decided before bedtime. And so I was just hoping that we'd have a close race, you know, where it wasn't, you know, decided late, like early in the evening, like the past few have been. I was hoping that we would, you know, be getting these states coming in late, polls are closed, but no decision in yet. And, you know, that's exactly what we got. Whether, you know, your side won or lost, you cannot say that there wasn't support for more than one candidate more so than the other unless you voted third party.
Right. So you wanted to be up late. How old were you for the 2000 race?
I was 5, but you know, I seemingly aged like 10 years during that whole election process in 2000.
I think we all did. Allie, so what were you hoping for in this election?
I didn't have much of a preference. I was very unhappy with both candidates. I leaned a little toward Donald Trump just because what Donald Trump offered was change. Hillary Clinton did not offer much palpable change. She didn't stand for a whole lot. And I think what people want is they want change. So I leaned towards that, and I think that's why a lot of other people did as well.
BJ, did I get a preference out of you?
You did not. I was kind of hoping
you were trying to dodge the bullet there.
Yeah, I guess I'm more of a politician than you might think. I tried to dodge the question.
You fit right in.
I voted for Trump, but it was personal decisions, and I mean, no disrespect to anybody, but
Sure.
I really don't want
Everybody,
to get into my
you know, there
reasoning
were
why.
the country was so split. You know, to be mad at someone for who they voted for, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You know,
Yeah.
we're all entitled to our opinion.
Yeah.
You know, personally, I think I was a big Bush supporter, you know, and we watched the video Bushisms where he's so funny and jolly and stuff. Do I think Bush is a good person? Probably not. I don't think any of the people running ever are good people. So for me, you know, I was more interested in the policies, the actual policies. I don't want to hear the drama. I just want to know what's going to change, what's going to stay the same. Ricky, what were you hoping for?
I was kind of hoping for a different direction in Washington, and I don't think anybody could have brought that more than an outsider, which Trump certainly was. Never held a political position before even becoming president. So I think he can definitely answer to dance to the beat of his own drum a little bit, and I think we definitely saw that in the race, and hopefully we can see it now in his presidency. But the results, I honestly didn't think Trump was going to get it, but when he got Florida and then Ohio and then Pennsylvania, really shocked me.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us here, we're on Hot Topics, a special segment of Studio 122. We're talking about the election. So, what do you think was the difference maker? You know, we know that the population vote, almost right down the middle, a little bit towards Hillary. Obviously, the Electoral College was a little bit more of a blowout for Trump. What was that difference maker? Last minute, up front, in the plans? What do you think, Allie?
I think it may have been in the plans. I think a lot of this is predicted beforehand. I don't think it's nearly as, at the end as we like to think it is. I think Donald Trump was set up to win kind of from the beginning.
BJ?
Well, I think both candidates had a really good chance to win, and I didn't agree that, there was that, decidedness already. I figured it would be a lot closer just because of how divided things had been. But I look at, just Hillary Clinton's, attack strategy and how instead of, promoting what policies she would implement if she became president, she seemingly attacked Donald Trump every chance she got and made Trump fire back. And then, you look at things where she just didn't, get out in these states like Trump did. I heard a statistic that Clinton, did not visit Wisconsin, one of the blue wall states, after the primaries in April. And that's one of the big reasons why I feel like the blue wall seemingly shifted red.
Ricky, difference maker?
For me, it really came down to two things. I think first was trust among the voters. I think something that had a big part to do with that was the email scandal and the WikiLeaks and everything about the DNC. And then second, I think was, believe it or not, social media. I think Trump was a genius at social media, and no one uses that more probably than us four up here right now. So I think he definitely used that to his advantage.
And we do have a clip. We have some clips from both Clinton and Trump supporters. I want to go to a clip right now of a Trump supporter who kind of echoed some of the things you were all just saying.
Okay, what are your thoughts about the election?
I'm very happy with the way the election went and Donald Trump winning, because I think we were going down the wrong road. If Hillary Clinton would have won, she wanted to let all these people in from other countries, and right now it's not the best time. And I think Donald Trump's immigration policy is what we really need to stop all the illegals from coming over.
Why was Trump a good choice?
Trump was a good choice because Hillary was a bad choice. She's too corrupt. The WikiLeaks came out, the FBI investigation. The Clinton Foundation is still under investigation. All that stuff we don't need that stuff in the government. And Trump is right, we need to drain the swamp.
What positives about Trump would you say as opposed to just negatives about Clinton?
Positives about Trump is that he looks like a guy that when he says it, he's going to do it. And he's not a politician, so he hasn't got his hands dirty. So I'd rather have him in there than her in there. And I think we'll see a big difference.
He's not our president, he's yours. He's yours.
We're gonna save the protest talk for just a minute. If you're just joining us again, we are doing Hot Topics. We're talking about the election here on Studio 122. I'm your host, Thomas Kent. I'm here with Allie James, BJ Laudermilk, and Ricky Moser. And right after this break, we're gonna get right back into it.